The subtitle of the Morgan Report is Money, Metals, and Mining. Money transcends everything, but the reason I started the topic of money is because so few people really understand what money is. And this first episode, you make it very clear that currency is not money. I like to think of currency as fun tickets at the county fair. As a child, there would be these fairs that pull into town, and you go in and you make an exchange, and you would get these tickets. But once the county fair left after a week or 2 or 3 days, whatever it was, if you had any of those tickets left over, they were worthless. And it's the same thing that you demonstrated on stage one time, maybe you did it more than once, when I was with you, where you had different currencies from different parts of the world, and you said, well, these Singapore dollars do nothing here in Hong Kong, and these Australian dollars do nothing here in Hong Kong, and you were just throwing them around. I call them fun tickets. Yeah. And that's all these things really are. Certainly they can purchase things in today's world, but they're depreciating at such a fabulous rate over a long period of time so far that people haven't caught on. It's when it accelerates that people usually catch on to the idea, but by then it's usually a little too late.
Yeah. That's one of the, you brought up these currencies, and when you travel from one country to another, the US dollar sort of enjoys a special status. There are a lot of countries where you can pay a cab driver or whatever in US dollars, but still in most countries you can't. You pass that currency exchange window in the airport and your currency goes to zero, where anybody that can recognize what gold is, the gold still has value past that currency window. But people don't realize that this is how currencies control your freedom. The U.S., if you try to leave the U.S. and become an expatriate, if you denounce your U.S. citizenship, the U.S. can control what you leave with, and they get to tax you again on everything that you've already paid tax on. All of your income and investments. If you want to take your wealth out of the country, you have to pay again to be able to say, I want to live somewhere else in the world and I don't want to play by your rules. All currencies, the currencies all used to be backed by money, like it showed in the episode, but when they come out with a national currency, a representation of money, then the government has the power to control inflows and outflows of wealth from that country. So you got any comments on, do you think about that when you're traveling?
Oh, I do. What I don't like is the last few times I've done it, they want more information I really want to give them. And it's really not very large amounts whatsoever. I'm always within the classification of, under the limit that you have to fill out a funding form for. And yet they still want all kinds of information to do it. And it always brings up something.
It's none of their business.
It's none of their business. It does impinge on my freedom. I think freedom, as you pointed out, let me stop here to say, the time and freedom that you emphasize in this first segment, I think, is critically important, because really the amount of money that we may, accumulate during the time frame that we've already been in our respective businesses and what will happen in the future, wonderful. But if you've lost your freedom, you've basically lost everything. But coming back, I'm going to give you an answer on these currency exchange things that you aren't expecting. And it goes back, and I don't remember the film, but it was a science fiction film, and it shows a gentleman at a currency exchange in an airport. And they will take all currencies except the US dollar. And every time I go through one of those things, I get that little tingling in my spine kind of a feeling, because that actually happened one time during a currency crisis in Switzerland. They were not accepting dollars. It was only for a short, 19 hours or something like that.
Wow.
But I'm not saying it will happen, saying it could happen, but
I think there's going to be a day it will happen.
Yeah, it could happen.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's something to bear in mind.